Dontaesboxingnation, Dontaescooking-nation. We are out here. Where are we at?
We're out here in Bangkok.
There you go. She's from Ireland. Matter of fact, introduce yourself to the world.
My name's Hannah and I'm from Ireland and I'm the biggest fan in Scalp.
You hear that?
Yeah.
Biggest fan?
And I'm from Ireland. Sorry.
No, I can edit it, don't worry about it. All the way in Bangkok, Thailand, y'all.
No,
Get
in
it right.
Ireland as well.
In Ireland, you hear that? DBN is international, guys. Dontaesboxingnation, what's going on, guys? Isn't it pretty strange? The only time you see fighters on a coincidental list get real high praise, the praise that they deserve, the credit that they deserve, is usually from new media or other professional boxers that do this for a living and don't have some type of agenda. This is usually when we hear a lot of the truth come out when they speak. David Benavidez, someone who is a proud Mexican, and I say he's a proud Mexican because he's always repping his flag. He's always saying, look, man, I'm rooting for the Mexican, period, because I'm Mexican. And I have no problem with him saying that because I'm gonna do the same thing when it comes to Americans. I'm gonna root for my country. But I always tell you guys, there's a difference from rooting for someone and picking someone to win who you think is logically going to win, right? For example, I'm rooting for my country when it comes to Caleb Plant, but I believe Canelo Alvarez is going to win that fight. There's a reason why Canelo is on this white/European tour right now, because he believes that they're easy pickings. With that being said, David Benavidez, he did an interview with Fight Hype where he was asked to give his thoughts on Gervonta Tank Davis versus Rolly Romero. Not only did he give his prediction, and obviously he picked Gervonta Tank Davis, but he then revealed the only fighters that had a chance of even beating Gervonta Tank Davis. Let me play this clip. Check it out, guys.
I think Gervonta Davis is gonna knock him out. Gervonta Davis is one of the best, and you know, just for what he's done in the sport and, you know, how with his age and how he's done, you know, I don't look up to him, but, you know, I really do admire his work and everything he's done, and I feel like I don't think Rolly is the one to beat him right now. I think if he would have a good competition against anybody, it would be Shakur Stevens, Devin Haney, and who else? Josh Taylor, but I feel like he smokes everybody else.
There it is. Now, and I'm sure you guys probably noticed the same thing I noticed when I first heard David Benavidez say this. He did not mention Teofimo Lopez's name. He also didn't mention Ryan Garcia's name. And this is the reason why whenever Devin Haney is putting tremendous pressure on Teofimo Lopez to take the fight, the fans, they don't even have confidence in Lopez, because the ones that are defending Lopez, you know what they'll say? Why doesn't Devin Haney fight Gervonta Tank Davis? In other words, why don't you pick on someone who's on your level? Why are you picking on the weaker fighters? Leave our fighters alone and go fight someone who's just as good as you are. That's exactly what they're saying. They're basically saying the same thing that David Benavidez is saying, but they are saying it with pride. Their pride as a race fan won't allow them to come out and say exactly what David Benavidez said, which is the truth. And same thing with old media. They praise Teofimo, constantly calling him undisputed. They even tell him he could fight whoever he wants to fight because he's undisputed, right? They said the same thing to Ryan Garcia, which is funny though, because he has no belts. And they still told him, you could fight whoever you want because you're the big name. This is what they told him, right? But the translation goes right back to what David Benavidez said. Hey, Teo, you gotta stay away from these dangerous black fighters. You're not as good as them, okay? As long as you avoid them, we can continue telling people you're the best. We'll tell people you don't even have to fight them. We're gonna make them as irrelevant as possible, so you're never gonna have to worry about the pressure of taking those challenges. Old media would rather the sport of boxing suffer and the fans suffer by watching meaningless fights that no one even cares about, just to keep old media's favorite fighters winning. They would rather that. 2021 has been the worst year of boxing. You know, finally we're getting some big fights towards the end of the year, but the whole year has been horrible because we're not getting the fights that we want. And if it was up to old media, we would never get them. Perfect example, old media member Sean Zito, who works with Fight Hype. This man is interviewing Teofimo, and he's trying to coach Teofimo into saying that you shouldn't have to fight Devin Haney if Devin Haney doesn't knock out Linares. This man keeps saying to Teo over and over again, do you think that Devin should have to do something spectacular like knock out Linares to get a fight with you? And it was interesting because Teo, he never really answered the question. I mean, he said, I'm gonna leave it up to the fans, right? And then he started talking about other stuff. And then the reporter, he brings him back to this question again. Yeah, but do you think, he should have to get a knockout? You got a reporter trying to create roadblocks and make up rules that don't even exist. That's not the way it works in the sport of boxing. Canelo didn't have to knock out Austin Trout to get a fight with Floyd Mayweather. Kambosos didn't have to knock out Lee Selby to get a fight with Teofimo Lopez. So why would Devin Haney have to do it when Devin Haney is a champion? Why would he have to do anything additional if he's already the champion? The champion, by the way, that Lomachenko avoided, which is why Devin has his belt. The reason why this reporter, Sean, why he does this is because he feels the wrong guy is going to end up winning that fight, which is the black guy, right? Kevin Iole did the same thing. Kevin Iole from Yahoo Sports, when Teofimo Lopez, when he was doing a live chat, this was right after Gervonta knocked out Leo Santa Cruz, right? And Teo, he was asking his fans, who do you want to see me fight next? And by Teo's own admission, they all said Gervonta, right? So here it is. He does a live poll. All of the fans, these are boxing fans, they want to see Gervonta versus Teofimo. Kevin Iole, he's watching the live. He sends a comment and he says, I want to see you fight Josh Taylor versus Ramirez. Translation, stay away from Gervonta, Teo. You're not going to beat him. We need you to keep winning. And to keep winning, that means you go the MBF route. We know what time it is, man. Now listen, when I say MBF, obviously that doesn't mean some black guy who's already lost before. That doesn't mean some journeyman, some Steve Rose, some Richard Comey who's already lost before. We're talking about elite, right? We're talking about how they're calling these guys the Four Kings. We're talking about those black guys, right? I mean, even Oscar Valdez, he'll fight some fighters on a coincidental list that already have L's, but he doesn't want to fight Shakur Stevenson, right? Now, going back to when I hear fans say, hey, man, why don't they fight against each other? Why doesn't the black guys just leave us alone and then all fight against each other? You know what that's called? That's called the black murderer's row. This is exactly what a group of black fighters had to do back in the 50s and the 60s. When all of the big names were avoiding them, they had to keep fighting against each other. And the majority of them never even got a title shot. They just kept fighting against each other over and over and over again because they were too dangerous. They were too skilled and they were too dangerous, so they became the most avoided fighters in the sport of boxing. But this ain't the 60s anymore, right? And when you talk about them fighting against each other, why don't these black bastards just take out each other, et cetera, et cetera? See, this is what doesn't make sense with that. I want to see all of these fights, right? But at the same time, it doesn't make any sense for the two most hated guys in the sport of boxing by the racist fans to be fighting against each other first. The most hated fighter should be going against the fighter that you guys actually root for. Doesn't that make sense? Why would you not want your team to be a part of this, right? If you're a big football fan, are you going to say, I would rather my team not go to the Super Bowl, right? I don't want to see them go to the playoffs. Why don't they put two other teams in the playoffs or in the Super Bowl? You want to call your favorite fighter the best, but you don't want him to participate in the tournament. What kind of sense does that make? Listen, man, even if I feel my team or my country is going to lose, I still want to watch the fight because I want to know how good these guys are at the end of the day. But old media and you race fans, you can continue trying your best to protect these fighters, protect your favorite fighters, but the walls are closing in and eventually they're going to have to step to the plate. Right now, Jojo Diaz, for whatever reason, he's stalling on signing that contract to fight against Devin Haney. He's already got everything that he wanted, right? He's got the money. In fact, he's getting even more money than he was getting to fight against Ryan Garcia. So for whatever reason, he's still hesitant to sign the contract to fight Devin. Once again, Oscar Valdez, he's sitting around being forced to fight Shakur Stevenson next. You got Teofimo Lopez, who's still being pressured to fight against Devin Haney if he gets past Kambosos. And then you got the pound for pound king, at least against European white fighters, Canelo Alvarez, who still hasn't fought Demetrius Andrade and Jamal Charlo. It's been 6 years. So I guess this is who they all get it from. But what these cats don't understand, fighters like Oscar and Teofimo and JoJo, the difference from you guys and Canelo Alvarez is Canelo, he made his name by losing to the biggest star in the sport of boxing, right? These guys haven't had that opportunity yet. So there's more pressure on them to take these bigger fights to even become a star in the sport of boxing. Let's see who decides to step up first. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one.
My name is Chris, and I'm all the way here from Anchorage, Alaska at ScalpCarolinas, and I'm here for my second treatment of SMP. Well, I was sitting at home one day and going over my Facebook page, and they have different, like advertisements popping up, and I saw one for SMP, and I saw some pictures of some guys, a before and after, and I was looking at that, and it caught my attention, so I Googled it. SMP, nothing showed up in my area. So, I did a little more research, and all of a sudden, ScalpCarolinas popped up in the web browser. So I started watching his videos and seeing all the reaction from all the other people. We talked on the phone, we made appointments and everything. I sent him pictures, and he looked at them, and I was like, can you fix this? And, he pretty much said, no problem. My first session, he made me feel extremely comfortable. It was almost like I was talking to family. He started, and during the whole treatment, we talked and, about our families and our life, and, and things that he does and things that I do. And before I know it, the first session was over. When you see someone doing something that they love, as much as I see Enoch Glover love what he does, it shows in his work. I wouldn't point anyone in any other direction but here to North Carolina, ScalpCarolinas, to get this done.
All right, now check this out, guys. If you're looking to repair eczema scars, burns and bruises, dark spots and blemishes, then this right here is the perfect product for you guys. It's called LO Deki Face and Body Oil. Athletes and top-ranking boxers, they're also using it after training to reduce swelling, inflammation, and to ease the pain. So get yours today. Go to lodeki.com, like them on Facebook, and follow them on Instagram.